Hey guys, welcome back to 1000 Book Challenge. Today we are going to read the book called Inspirational Sports Stories for Young Readers, made by Kurt Taylor. Guys, I know I haven't been posting for a long time, but now I will start posting once a day. And guys, today we have a special guest. It's my younger brother, Joshua Varghese, and he's going to be coming right now. Come on. Yep, he will be helping us read this book. This book is a really interesting book. Am I right?
Huh?
Yeah. So now you could go and sit on the floor and help us out. Okay, guys, we're gonna start. Introduction. It is often said sports are one of the greatest ways to learn life lessons. Through your participation in sports, you learn important skills like dedication, the value of hard work, and perseverance. You learn how to win and lose with grace and how to interact with teammates to create a better community. There is a reason so many former athletes say that sports help them learn how to survive in this world. What makes those skills easier to learn is that you, yes, you, are actually going through the process at the moment. When you win a game, you feel joy and excitement. When the final whistle blows, when you lose, disappointment and frustration hold at the same time. You learn how to use losses as motivating factors and how nice it feels to see your hard work pay off in a championship. You see in real time how your one pass led to your teammate scoring or how your hustle helped stop the other team from scoring. This book isn't going to give you the same real-time feedback, but it will teach you the same the same valuable life lessons in a different way. Over the next 12 chapters, we're only going to be reading 3. We're going to cover 12 athletes who took the harder road to their success in sports. You may not be able to relate to all of these 12 athletes, but chances are at least one or two of these stories are going to stick with you. You'll learn how the best athletes in the world dealt with disappointment to rise to the top of their sport. You'll learn how some athletes didn't let the physical limitations stop them from being elite athletes. You'll even learn how some athletes were able to overcome some pretty tough situations to find stability and comfort in the sport they love. So, over the next 12 chapters, we're only going to be reading 3. Think about how you would react to the situations these athletes found themselves in during their lives. Think about the role that sport plays in your life and what the sports you love mean to you. Many children growing up hoping to score the winning goal or land the perfect 10 from the judges, but only a special few can live out those dreams. What common themes do you see from these athletes that allowed them to become the stars they are today? What lessons can you learn from how these people handle the same situations you may very well find yourself in today or in the future? We hope this book serves as an inspiration to you to go live out your dreams to the best of your ability. Learn from these 12 stars to figure out how to make your dreams come true and find your true happiness.
Also, guys, you know how we said that we'd be reading 3? We are reading 3, but we're gonna read the rest in other videos that you can watch. And also, make sure to subscribe and comment.
Alright, the first one we will be reading is Jim Abbott, a baseball player. It's not often you see an athlete with a body that isn't in pristine condition. Athletes are known for their strong muscle bodies and bodies that are in peak physical conditioning. Yet few people have the mental strength and perseverance of Jim Abbott. Abbott was born with partially formed right arm, which in theory should have ruled out a lot of sports from his career choices. Certainly any sport that would require him to throw a ball. Yet, Abbott played in the major leagues, doing so far 10 years, making 254 starts and 263 appearances as a pitcher. The kind of position you wouldn't expect from someone with just one fully formed arm. So just how did Jim Abbott find baseball and become the most iconic player with a major disability? Jim Abbott was born on September 19th, 1967 in Flint, Michigan to two teenagers, Mike and Kathy Abbott. It certainly wasn't ideal circumstances for either the new parents or the newborn, but Mike and Kathy showed the same resolve in raising Jim while finishing college, as he would later show, and making it to the major leagues. Big accomplishment. As Jim became more interested in sports, his parents tried to gently direct him into soccer, a sport famous for not needing the use of your hands. Yet everyone in the neighborhood was playing baseball, so that is what Jim Abbott wanted to play. As any good parent would, Mike would spend hours with Jim working on hand-eye coordination drills to help him accomplish the same motions other kids were doing with two hands. After hours of throwing rubber balls against brick walls and catching the rebounds, Jim eventually began practicing the glove technique that would make him famous. He would elegantly remove his left hand from his glove and then take the ball out of his glove to throw to the base. Eventually, he decreased the distance between him and the wall, forcing him to utilize the maneuver faster. By the time Jim made it to the majors, he had perfected the dance that became his pitching motion. He would begin with a normal fielder's glove perched on the skin at the end of his right arm as he threw the ball. Once he delivered the ball to the plate, he would slip his left hand into the glove and be prepared to field the ball. When the ball did make its way to Jim, he would remove his glove and cradle it against his chest as he picked the ball out of the webbing and fired it to a teammate. However, it took a while for Jim to perfect his motion, as his parents had a special prosthetic arm made for him when he began school at the age of 4. He didn't particularly enjoy his fake arm, and he ditched the new limb before even playing a game with it. In his first ever Little League game, he tossed a no-hitter as an 11-year-old, but it didn't stop the constant stream of doubters that filled Abbott's path to the majors. From Little League through high school and everywhere in between, people assumed Abbott's ability would eventually become a hindrance. In high school, however, he was playing first base in the outfield when he wasn't pitching, proving himself more than capable fielder despite his deformity. It didn't even stop Abbott from being a dangerous hitter, with his left arm able to generate tons of power for him. As a senior at Flint Central High School, Abbott bashed 7 home runs and batted better than .425 while also winning 10 games with an insanely low 0.75 earned runs average and averaging more than 2 strikeouts per inning pitched. That is totally insane. Not only was Abbott successful on the baseball diamond, but his throwing talents also made him a strong starting quarterback on the football team. Football team, yes. He threw for more than 600 yards and 6 touchdowns while starting the final 3 games of his senior year under center.
Also, being a baseball player and then becoming a football player, that's just crazy. Honestly, I don't know what to say.
He also was the team's punter and averaged nearly 38 yards per kick. which is pretty good for a high schooler. At every turn, he found ways to prove people wrong. Abbott's exploits on baseball fields caught the eye of the Toronto Blue Jays, who drafted the pitcher in the final round of the 1985 MLB draft out of high school. Wisely, Abbott decided to turn down the $50,000 signing bonus and attended Michigan on a baseball scholarship. It was a major step for Abbott, who hadn't received a lot of recruiting attention due to the skepticism about his disability. But after a successful freshman campaign, Abbott made a name for himself by helping the Wolverines with the Big Ten as a sophomore in 1987 and then pitched a shutout in the NCAA tournament. These performances catapulted Abbott into a new level of stardom as the country came to know his immense talent. In the summer of 1987, Abbott was named to the United States National Amateur Baseball Team and impressed a crowd of more than 50,000 fans with a 3-hit complete game against Cuba in an exhibition game. In the Pan American Games, Abbott was the flag bearer for the U.S., then won 2 games without allowing a single run to lead the Americans to a silver medal. He ended up being awarded the Sullivan Award as the nation's best amateur athlete, edging out a stand-up group of athletes that included future Basketball Hall of Famer David Robinson. According to the glory of the 1987 summer, Abbott also won the Golden Spikes Award as the best amateur baseball player over a group that included future big leaguers Robin Ventura and Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. is a very good guy at baseball. And same for Jim Abbott.
And let's keep reading. Yet, the summer of 1987 might pale in comparison to what Abbott accomplished in 1988, when he threw a complete game to lead the United States to a win over Japan in the gold medal match of the Olympics. Sure, Abbott was also the first baseball player to be named the Big Ten Male Athlete of the Year that season, but he also is now a gold medalist and a national icon. It wasn't a shock that when he decided to leave Michigan after 3 years and chase his professional baseball dreams with the Carolina Angels, who picked him 8th overall in the 1988 draft. Perhaps one of the biggest surprises in Abbott's career is that he started in the major leagues, joining the Angels' opening day rotation in 1989. Only 15 players between the start of the draft in 1965 and Abbott's debut in 1989 had actually started their professional careers in Major League Baseball. And though many believe the Angels keeping Abbott on the opening day roster was a media stunt, he did finish 5th in Rookie of the Year voting that season with a 12-12 record in the 3.92 era with 4 complete games and 2 shutouts. After a sophomore slump of sorts in his second year, Abbott put together what became his finest season as a pitcher in 1991. He won 18 games with 5 complete game performances with a 2.89 era and a career-best 158 strikeouts. Abbott finished 3rd in C.Y. Young voting that season despite not receiving a first-place vote. In 1992, Abbott actually had a lower era by allowing 2.77 earned runs per 9 innings. But the Angels were terrible that season. After the 1992 season, he was traded to the New York Yankees, where the best moments of his career occurred. On September 4th, 1993, a few weeks shy of his 26th birthday, Abbott threw a no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians. It was a performance filled with plenty of harrowing moments, notably when Felix Furman's 9th inning line drive into center field was tracked down by Bernie Williams. But more importantly, it put the attention back on Abbott for his baseball abilities and not the uniqueness of his situation. However, that success did not last very long for Abbott, who fell back to being an average major leaguer in 1994. The 1995 season was slightly better, but it all came crumbling down for Abbott in 1996, when he went 2-8-18 with a 7.48 era with the Angels. It was a difficult time for Abbott, who was not used to being at such a low on the baseball diamond, and he ended up not playing in 1997 after being released by the Angels. Yet he won all 5 of his starts with the White Sox in 1998, giving him the motivation to attempt a full comeback in 1999. However, he went just 2-8 before the Brewers cut him, and he eventually decided to retire. If there was one thing that followed Abbott everywhere during his career, it was the media attention for his disability. He handled every media request with the grace of someone who studied communications at Michigan and throughout his career. He continued to preach about how much he enjoyed his work in the community, yet that work also led his boss with the Yankees, owner George Steinbrenner, to criticize him for doing too much with the community and not focusing enough on baseball. There were a lot of reasons, though, that Abbott had such a sharp decline in his career after pitching so well in 1991 and 1992. Most of the popular theories centered on Abbott's disability. He tipped off his pitches because he couldn't shield his grips with the glove. He allowed too many steals because he couldn't conceal his pickoff attempts or field his position as cleanly. The Yankees even created a new glove specifically for Abbott to wear that would fit right over his arm, but it never felt right to the pitcher. All of those might have played a part, but Abbott never once blamed his disability on the end of his career. He cited the fact he couldn't adjust to losing velocity on his fastball and struggled to throw a consistent off-speed pitch. That is the type of balance most pitchers need in their arsenal, but something Abbott struggled to develop in his career. He finished with 87 wins, 888 strikeouts, and a 4.25 ERA in nearly 1,700 innings on the mound. He threw 31 complete games and 6 shutouts over 10 seasons in the majors. I feel full. I feel satisfied. Abbott told the media when he announced his retirement in 1999 after being released by Milwaukee, "My career wasn't always great, but it was wonderful. I learned so many lessons and had so many great friends and experiences. My experience added up, make me feel like I've had a Hall of Fame career." Abbott now works as a motivational speaker as he tours the country telling his story. He tells all of the classic stories of his no-hitter, his football triumphs, and so much more than that what went into his life. He wanted his best to help others in the retirement phase of his life. And he continues to do that with his speaking and charity work. He teaches about the need to adapt, adjustability, determination, accountability, perseverance, and trust, and how that world has taken on a new meaning in his life as he's grown older. From the hard work it took to learn how to play baseball with one arm to the mental strength it took to come back after the worst parts of his career. From the fact he took full ownership of his mistakes in his career to the moments he needed to believe in himself to accomplish the magical moments of his baseball career. It all came from that word and the mantra that Abbott has used to inspire those around the country. I believe that the challenges that we face in life can make us better, Abbott said in 2010 interview. I'm not saying that they're easy and struggle is painful, but if lacking a right hand pushed me in any way, then I have to say I'm thankful for that.
Okay, guys, Jim Abbott, one of those guys who had a disability, he still didn't care. He kept on working hard from a young age.
He persevered, man.
Let's give a round of applause for that.
And guys, we are about to read our second story about Josh Allen.